Hey there, welcome back. I'm Flat Rate Mechanic, and today we're diving into a topic that's critical for your safety on the road, the importance of installing the right brake pads and rotors on your vehicle. Have you ever thought about what could happen if you mix up your brake parts? Well, let me tell you, it can be a pretty scary situation. So here's the deal. Front and rear brake systems are engineered completely differently. Think about it. Your front brakes do about 60 to 70% of the work when it comes to stopping your car. That's a huge load. When you hit the brakes, weight transfers to the front, which means the front brakes have to be stronger, beefier, and able to handle a lot more heat. Now let's talk sizes. Front rotors are typically larger, about 288 to 320 millimeters in diameter on most vehicles, like a 2011 Audi A3. In contrast, rear rotors usually sit around 255 to 282 millimeters. That's a pretty significant size difference, right? But it's not just about the diameter. The thickness and materials of the brake pads also vary quite a bit. Front pads are generally thicker and made from different friction materials to endure the extra heat and stopping force. Here's a pro tip. Always measure your rotors before buying replacements. If the numbers don't match, you're looking at the wrong parts. Trust me on this one. Getting it right is essential. Now, you might be wondering why mixing up these components is such a big deal. Well, when you slap smaller rear rotors on the front, you're essentially cutting down your stopping power right where you need it most. Those smaller rotors can't dissipate heat effectively, leading to brake fade faster than you'd expect. And here's the warning. Installing rear brake components on the front can lead to catastrophic brake failure. Overheating, uneven braking, premature wear, and even pedal pulsation can occur. And let's not forget about increased stopping distances. Your car just won't stop as quickly as it should. Nobody wants that, right? Now, let's get into how to identify the correct brake parts. First up, always buy parts that are specific to your vehicle's VIN. Don't just rely on the year, make, and model because there can be variations even within the same model year. When you get those parts, compare the new rotor to the old one. Make sure the diameter matches exactly. Check the thickness. Remember, front rotors are typically thicker. And don't forget to look at the vane pattern inside. Verify that the mounting bolt pattern is right and that the center hub diameter is identical. Here's a quick checklist of tools you'll need for a successful brake job. A jack and jack stands rated for your vehicle, a lug wrench and torque wrench, a 13mm socket for most caliper bolts, a C-clamp or brake piston tool, a wire brush and brake cleaner, digital calipers for measuring rotors and pads. When it comes to parts, go for quality brands. You don't want to cut corners here. Brands like Bosch, ATE, or Brembo are worth the investment. Sure, you can find cheaper options, but your brakes are not the place to skimp. All right, let's walk through the proper brake replacement process. First, make sure you're working on a level surface with the parking brake on and wheel chocks in place. Safety first. 1. Start by loosening your lug nuts before you jack up the vehicle. Then raise it and secure it on jack stands. 2. Remove the old parts by taking off the wheel and the caliper bolts. Be careful not to let the caliper dangle by the brake line. Hang it with a wire hanger instead. 3. Slide off the old rotor. If it's stuck, a few taps with a rubber mallet should do the trick. 4. Clean everything. Remove rust and debris from the hub surface to ensure your new rotor sits flat. Oh, and here's another pro tip. Measure the runout on the hub itself. You want less than 0.05 millimeters of runout before putting on new parts. Otherwise, your rotors could warp prematurely. Once everything's cleaned up, install the new rotor, compress the piston, and install the new pads. Don't forget to apply anti-squeal compound to the back of the pads, not the friction surface. After you reinstall the caliper, torque those caliper bolts to spec, which is usually around 20 to 30 Newton meters, depending on your vehicle. Then put the wheel back on, torque the lug nuts, and pump the brake pedal a few times to seat the pads. Now one more crucial point. After installing new brakes, you must bed them in properly. This means doing 10 to 15 gentle stops from about 30 miles per hour with cool-down periods in between. Avoid hard braking for the first 500 miles. Trust me, this step can save you a lot of trouble down the line. I wrap up, let's quickly touch on some common brake job mistakes. Always replace components in axle sets. Don't just do one side. Skipping the cleaning step is a big no-no, and over-torquing bolts can lead to warping. Also, remember to check your brake fluid level before and after the job. So to sum up, make sure you've got the right parts, follow the proper procedures, and don't skip those important checks. Brake work isn't complicated, but it's critical for your safety. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or want to share your own brake job stories, feel free to reach out. I'll catch you in the next one.